Don't be afraid of the dark. Just relax and let the darkness fall over you.
Welcome to Afraidish, a podcast where we take a deep dive into the history and paranormal while enjoying some tasty adult beverages. From ghost sightings to hauntings, urban legends and cryptids, let's get weird and afraid-ish together. Welcome to episode 49. I'm Paul.
And I'm Ashley.
How have you been?
You know.
Same old shit.
Same old shit, different day. Yeah. Actually, today was actually a pretty good day.
That's good.
I got all that done.
Yeah?
I don't know where all the energy came from, but it happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I worked all day, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
I have officially can confirm I have cracked the secret to duping Panera Bread's mac and cheese.
It was so good.
So fucking good. So good.
I love homemade mac and cheese.
Yeah, well, this isn't like normal homemade mac and cheese because there's no bechamel involved.
Yeah.
So you just cook, I cooked the noodles until they were less than al dente. So like they were still very firm in the middle.
Yeah.
Drained them, put them back in the pot, then almost but not quite covered them with milk, turned that back onto a simmer, and then the cheese is equal parts white American and white cheddar.
Yeah.
And it has to be white American from the deli. Don't go trying to do American craft singles. It is not the same. It is not the same. And you could use Velveeta. Do not recommend it. Unless you really like Velveeta.
That's alright.
I don't like Velveeta at all.
I grew up on it.
So did I, and I don't know what it is. Even like the white Velveeta, people tell me it's the same as white American. It's not.
No, it's not.
Because you can melt Velveeta without adding liquid to it.
Yeah. You
can melt white cheddar, but it doesn't stay runny like Velveeta does. Unless you add to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Very
what are we drinking?
Oh, you're drinking a margarita?
Yes, my second one.
Yes, and I made that one for you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm drinking, I don't know what you'd call it. It's, I guess, kind of like a dirty Shirley. It's whiskey, like 2 ounces of whiskey. Maybe half an ounce, maybe an ounce of lemon juice. I don't know. I didn't quite measure it when I poured.
Yeah.
Some of that, cherry grenadine.
Yeah.
I grabbed the prickly pear cactus syrup out of the fridge and then put it back because I was like, no, I want cherry. I think cherry would go better with the whiskey. It's very good. And then I topped it off with what was left of my diet, or 7-Up Zero.
Nice.
So yeah. That took a long time to describe that drink.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. Do you have an idea of what we're doing today?
Well, it's in Michigan, I know that.
Yes.
Is it a specific location? Is it still on Mackinac Island?
No, I mean, you requested it.
Is it the Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village?
Yes.
Yeah. Yay!
Hopefully you like it. I got as much info as I could.
Oh my god, so many school field trips to the Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village.
Nice.
Sometimes both, sometimes just the one or the other. So many.
Yeah. All right. So I couldn't figure out what 5 fun facts to do, so I just did 5 fun facts about villages.
Okay.
So, yeah. 5 fun facts. Number 1. Many traditional villages around the world are known for their self-sufficiency. For example, in the rural Andean communities in Peru, villages are often isolated from larger towns and cities, relying on local agriculture, crafts, and traditional methods for their daily needs. So,
yeah.
Number 2. Villages often display unique architectural styles that reflect local materials, climate, and cultural influences.
Okay.
For instance, the Schans village in the Netherlands features well-preserved historic windmills
Ooh.
and houses built in the traditional Dutch wooden architectural style.
Oh, cool. Fun.
Yeah. Number 3. Some villages hold onto traditions that have been passed down for generations.
Mm-hmm.
In the village of Geithorn, also in the Netherlands, there are no roads, and all transport is done by water over one of the many canals.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like Venice, but the Netherlands.
Yeah. Number 4. Villages often host unique cultural festivals. In England, the village of Brockworth hosts the annual Cooper's Hill Cheese Rolling and Wake, where participants race down a steep hill chasing a giant wheel of cheese.
You know what? I would not run for many things, but I could be convinced to run for cheese.
Yeah. Well, it's run from cheese, but yeah.
Oh, I thought they were chasing the cheese.
Yeah, I keep thinking back of like a show or movie where the big giant cheese wheel was rolling after them. I don't know.
So like an episode of Adventure Time or something?
No, I don't know. Anyways, number 5. Many villages have turned their picturesque settings and rustic lifestyles into tourist attractions while preserving their heritage and landscape. Hallstatt in Austria is one such village known for its stunning beauty and alpine settings.
But it's also... Fun fact with Ashley. Hallstatt is also... It lends its name to a time period of European/Celtic history.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing, the Hallstatt culture they found at the bottom of the lake. I think, no, it was either the one that was at the bottom of the lake or it was the one with the salt mines. And then there's another village that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I wouldn't have been able to remember Hallstatt until you said it. It just jogged my memory. There's another village elsewhere in like Switzerland or Germany that gives its name to another period of Celtic history.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Today we'll explore one of Michigan's most iconic landmarks, the Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah. This place is rich in history, innovation, and yes, hauntings.
I mean... I can't imagine any museum not being haunted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But especially that one.
Yeah. We'll explore the storied past of these famous grounds and the ghostly legends surrounding them today. This museum isn't just a collection of artifacts. It's a tapestry of American innovation and a keeper of stories that transcend time. From the echoes of industrial triumphs to whispers of the paranormal, the Henry Ford Museum is a place where history and mystery intertwine. So grab a seat, dim the lights, and prepare for another journey into the unknown. Let's start with the history because that's where every good ghost story begins.
Yes.
To fully appreciate the stories of restless spirits and eerie sightings, we first need to understand the legacy of the man behind the iconic site, Henry Ford. Yes, I know. Born in 1863 in Dearborn, Michigan, Ford was not just the founder of Ford Motor Company and the creator of the assembly line, but a man deeply interested in preserving history and progress. In 1929, Ford established the museum and the surrounding village to document America's technological and industrial advances. The Henry Ford Museum is a massive complex.
Yes.
Originally known as the Edison Institute, it was conceived to honor Thomas Edison, one of Ford's greatest inspirations and friends. They were BFFs.
Yeah, like calls to like. Am I right?
Yeah, no shit. It wasn't just about automobiles. Ford envisioned a space that preserved American history, including locomotives, aviation, agriculture, and even civil rights movements.
Yeah, I have very, very, very vivid memories of the locomotive section of the museum. Probably the location of the museum that's easiest for me to recall mentally.
Cool.
I don't know why.
Nice.
Nothing weird ever happened there, so it's not like some psychological situation. Just FYI.
It's crazy. Meanwhile, Greenfield Village, the outdoor component, is a collection of nearly 100 historic buildings. Many of these structures were transported from their original locations to Dearborn brick by brick, including homes and workshops of famous figures like Thomas Edison and the Wright brothers, and even Noah Webster, as in Webster's Dictionary. Walking through Greenfield Village is like stepping back in time, strolling along cobblestone streets and passing Victorian homes, but behind the charming facades and beautiful preserved history lies a darker side. According to many, some of these homes, along with the museum, are said to be haunted. Let's take a moment to highlight some of the museum's most notable artifacts. First, there's the Rosa Parks bus. This 1955 Montgomery City bus became a symbol of the civil rights movement when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat.
That's right. I forgot that was there.
Sparking the Montgomery bus boycott. The bus has been meticulously restored and is a powerful reminder of the fight for equality. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then we have the Lincoln chair. The chair President Abraham Lincoln was sitting in at Ford's Theater when he was assassinated in 1865.
I remember that now too.
The chair still bears stains from the tragic night and is a poignant artifact of American history.
Oh my God. So many memories are flooding back now.
Nice. You're welcome.
Very vivid memories. Like, this museum was such a huge part of my childhood in that I went there multiple times on school field trips.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an equal comparison, but this museum, for me, is almost like Silver Dollar City is for people who grew up around here.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, it may not be something that you go to. Some people go on a very regular basis. They get season passes and they use the hell out of them.
That's crazy.
Some people go just like a few times a year or like once every couple of years. We did go to amusement parks growing up, but they were not Silver Dollar City and I never got to ride any of the rides. So Henry Ford Museum was my Silver Dollar City or my Cedar Point, which is so sad and pathetic, but it was such an exciting time. It was such an exciting field trip. And maybe I was like the only fifth grader who was like, yay, we're going to a museum. This is exciting. Yeah. But that was like, I was the one looking at the Lincoln chair going, whoa.
Yeah.
Just like, whoa. Like geeking out in fifth grader.
Nice.
Weird shit, man.
Yeah. Another fascinating exhibit is the Dymaxion House, designed by architect Buckminster Fuller.
I think about this house multiple times a week. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my gosh. All right, let me tell what
Sorry.
it is. This futuristic aluminum dwelling was envisioned by a solution to the housing crisis post-World War II, showcasing innovative design and sustainable living concepts.
Mm-hmm. I have dreams where we live in a house that's laid out, because it's laid out in like a circle.
Yeah.
But it's not a round circle. Because there's angle, like...
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, the walls are straight. Or do they curve? I don't remember. But anyway, it's like all aluminum. So it's like the outside of an Airstream inside.
Yeah.
It's so shiny.
That is crazy. All right. Now for the hauntings. As fascinating as the history of the Henry Ford Museum is, a darker side lurks in the shadows of these historic artifacts. Ghost stories and unexplained phenomena have been part of the museum's lore for many years. Why would a museum dedicated to history and innovation be haunted? Well, some say it's the artifacts themselves. Many believe that objects, especially those with great historical significance, can carry the energy of their former owners.
I don't think that it has to be objects of great historical significance. I think that they just have to be objects of significance.
Yeah.
Because if it's significant on a national level, that's probably because it was traumatic, involving a powerful person.
Yeah.
But there can be powerful objects that are not world or nationally famous. They're just like intimate objects between families. Things that were either very sentimental to a person or things that witnessed. People think that objects in the vicinity of like a really terrible crime hold on to the energy of that crime, you know?
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. So, and like the museum is full of objects that were surrounded by either traumatic events, the Lincoln assassination chair,
right?
Prime example.
Rosa Parks bus. That was a like socially heated trauma. That wasn't like gore. Yeah, I mean, it would still carry the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the energy would be different,
right?
Based on what it saw. Like the energy of what that's the theory. I'm not saying I agree.
Yeah. I get it.
I don't know, but, you know.
Who knows?
You pack a room or a building full of historical artifacts.
Yeah. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
All right. Others speculate that the spirits are attached to the building, many of which were moved brick by brick from their original locations. Mm-hmm. Could moving these buildings have disturbed something or someone? One of the most well-known ghost stories connected to the Henry Ford Museum involves Henry Ford himself. Some visitors have reported seeing his apparition in the museum. He's often spotted near his favorite exhibits or walking along the grounds late at night, almost as if he's still overseeing his grand creation.
I wonder if that is more of a residual type energy and not like a sentient one. Like he's not there, but the memory of him is.
Could be. Yeah. The sightings are so frequent that staff members have affectionately called him the museum's eternal curator. A more spine-chilling encounter happened in the museum's With Liberty and Justice for All exhibit, which focuses on America's struggle for freedom and equality.
Yeah.
Several visitors have felt cold spots, sudden chills, and an overwhelming sense of being watched in this area.
Oh.
Some believe the spirits of those who fought for justice, like slaves escaping through the Underground Railroad, still linger within the museum's walls.
But why would those spirits be in that place?
I think it has.
Are they
artifacts.
Attached to artifacts?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I would say so.
Not just that they're drawn to it because it talks about their struggle. That's a little. I don't know.
That's crazy. One of the museum's most significant artifacts, the Rosa Parks bus, has an eerie aura. Some believe Rosa Parks' spirit watches over it. Visitors have reported hearing faint whispers, and one guest claimed to have seen a shadowy figure sitting in the bus when no one was around.
I mean, I can see why people would want the bus to be haunted, because it was involved in what I would consider a traumatic incident.
Yeah.
That ultimately led to the start of the bus riots. But it wasn't the end of Rosa Parks' life.
Yeah.
And I would hope, just from like soul to soul, that she wouldn't feel the need to stay there.
I don't think she stayed there. I mean,
like, of all the places, like, if I was going to be trapped on Earth, I would hope that I would be trapped somewhere that had beautiful meaning for me.
Yeah.
Like, the place that I felt the safest, not the place of the most traumatic incident of my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the energy. I don't think she's there watching over the bus. And...
Yeah, I think, God, I hope that she's at peace. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what some people believe about the paranormal. So if some people think that it's actually her soul at rest in death.
I mean, she died peacefully in old age, so...
Right.
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm just saying, like, I hope that she's completely at rest.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that there is no part of her soul that is trapped here permanently on Earth. So if there is energy on the bus, again, like, energy doesn't have to be sentient. It doesn't have to be somebody's soul. It can just be the vibe.
Yeah.
Traumatic. I think a lot of people attribute paranormal activity to just bad vibes.
Yeah.
And I think that, and that's not to say that bad vibes cannot produce paranormal activity. They just have to be really, really, really strong bad vibes. And I think that, like, sometimes we're so quick to call something paranormal when we walk into a room and just get an icky vibe from it.
Yeah.
And instead of, like, and not everybody gets the icky vibe. Some people, I feel like, are a little bit more sensitive, whether it's just more sensitivity or whether it's a trauma response, because we're always on extra high alert.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to read a room when I walk into it. Maybe those of us that are hypersensitive, we can sense the energy of previous interactions that happened there. Like, if a fight happens in a room and then the two people that fought leave and then you walk into the room, like, immediately after they leave, can you still sense the energy of that fight?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Even though the fighting people have removed themselves from the vicinity and you did not witness the fight with your own eyes, so you don't know that the fight necessarily happened.
Yeah.
But then if you're told a fight happened here and it was really heated and really ugly and nasty words were said, then you're going to walk into that space expecting to feel those sensations. Like, just subconsciously.
Oh, yeah. You're
going to attribute it to that, and you're going to draw up memories in your mind that relate to that type of energy. Like, at a time you witnessed a fight that was really heated and aggressive. So then you are going to feel those sensations.
Right.
Because you're thinking of that memory. And then you're going to attribute it to paranormal activity in the room.
Yeah. It's all about the energy. So, yeah.
That's what I said. Like, for me, for something to be paranormal, it has to be very compelling. Like, I know what it's like to walk into a room with a bad vibe.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to walk into a room where the bad vibe has been there for a very, 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 very long time. That doesn't mean paranormal activity goes on there.
Yeah.
But then people want the paranormal activity.
Yeah.
So then they, like, every little bump, every little pop of the radiator, somebody's knocking, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway. That's my little diatribe. I think a lot of it's just psychological projection, but yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I hope Rosa Parks is not stuck in the worst place of her life. Like, that makes me so sad to think that people assume that that's the case.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I know you don't. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people in the paranormal community, it's all projection.
Yeah. You want to see what you want to see.
Yeah. And a lot of it's based on assumptions.
Yeah.
Like with the Lizzie Borden house, too. I think people assume that they know what happened that day.
Yeah.
Even though nobody knows what happened that day.
Yep.
People just assume. And of course, they want to think that it had to be the woman. And like Elizabeth Bathory, like the Blood Countess in Hungary.
Yeah.
Well, now I think it's the Czech Republic, but it was Hungary when she was alive. Or they spoke Hungarian. I don't know. I'm not great with the geography of that region. But she was a powerful woman who held land after her husband died. She did not remarry. She owned her properties outright. She was wealthy in her own right. Because she didn't remarry.
Well, if that's the case, she's a witch.
So, she obviously she had to have committed a crime. So how about we say this is the men, the rich hoity-toity men that want her lands.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we say that she murdered a bunch of virgins and bathed in their blood and tortured them? Because she tortured them because she enjoyed it.
Yep.
And she bathed in their bloods because she thought that it would keep her young forever. And then we kill her. They didn't actually kill her. I think she was imprisoned for the rest of her life. I'm not
I heard that story before. I can't remember.
Yeah. Do I believe that she did the things she was accused of doing? No. The same way that I don't believe that Anne Boleyn did the things that she was accused of doing and what ultimately led to her execution.
Yeah.
Again, it was a convenient story made up by the men in power. But I don't know where I'm going with this.
I mean,
anyway.
At the same time, she could have done those things, but in reality...
It's unlikely. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's unlikely.
But in reality, there were men, because this was a patriarchy. They wanted her land in her house.
It was like in the 14 or 1500s.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago. Like, they wouldn't let Matilda be empress of the English Empire.
Right.
Stephen took that from her. Because fucking Stephen.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking patriarchy. Yep.
And then the next first woman to successfully hold power in England was Bloody Mary. They vilified her. And they still to this day vilify. And I'm not going to bat for Mary the First. Not at all. Did she murder a lot of people because she didn't like their religious views? Yes. Did she murder so many people that she should have this like super awful reputation for murdering a lot of people? Yes. But if that's the case, then also her brother, Edward, the whatever his number was, who was king from like the age of 9 to like 14, he killed a lot of Catholics.
Jeez.
Her father killed 2 of his own wives and so many like clergy people and Catholics. Not like, because like people that he mostly killed people that didn't like what he was doing with the church specifically. His murders were like very completely power trippy.
Yeah.
He wanted what he wanted, and he did what he had to do to get what he wanted. So why does he not have that reputation? He killed more people than his daughter Mary the First did. Elizabeth the First killed so many people. She doesn't. She's Gloriana. She is the most successful female ruler in English history. I would argue that she was one of the most successful rulers in English history. Yeah. She held the throne for so long. Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway. People, they vilify women. And then they create paranormal activity around that vilification.
Yep.
of the woman. Like Elizabeth Bathory's castle is... I was just watching an episode of Amy's Crypt. It was a few years old. But it got me like really heated. Because I was like, I know... I mean, I'm not a historian. I don't know the history of Elizabeth Bathory. But I've watched videos from scholars talking about it. I watch a lot of people who are doing research for their PhD. Basically, they do research for their PhD and then they share that research on their YouTube channels, and their YouTube channels take off. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. About, like, every female figure that's known for being, like, villainized. She was just a woman that happened to either be in a position of power or piss off a man who was in a position of power.
Yep. That's the way it goes. Mm-hmm. Fucking patriarchy. Yeah. They're going to accuse you of crazy shit and then try to take your land and whatnot.
I have no idea what this has to do with the Rosa Parks bus.
I don't know.
This is just... I don't know.
I mean, that's fine.
I hope that whatever she believed in life was paradise for after death. I hope that she is there. Yeah. And not trapped looking over the most traumatic location. The bus that was involved in the most traumatic incident of her life. You know?
Yep. I don't think so. Yeah. Because if that happened, there is a most ridiculous God out there that has no empathy or whatnot for people who have
I don't want to go on a God tangent. Yeah. We don't need to go down this rabbit hole. I have a lot of thoughts about that. But anyway. Yeah.
That could be a whole episode.
And it would not be a very popular episode.
Probably not. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways.
If there's paranormal activity, I think that it would probably be either residual or projection of the person wanting to experience paranormal activity, whether consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. All right. And then there's the haunted chair. Yes, you heard that right. One of the more unusual stories involves a simple wooden chair housed in the museum's presidential vehicle exhibit. This chair is rumored to have belonged to President Abraham Lincoln and is believed to have been in his Ford Theater box the night he was assassinated.
Did he own that chair, or did the Ford Theater own that chair?
The Ford Theater owned a chair, but it was the seat that he always sat in.
Okay.
So basically,
it was his seat.
Yeah, his seat.
Okay.
At the theater. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like he brought his own personal chair. No. Okay. No. I was like, that's a little... I don't know about these rich white guys. Brings his own chair to the theater.
Yeah. Those who sit in it or even touch it have reported experiencing intense feelings of dread, nausea, or even seeing dark shapes looming over them. Yeah.
Are you okay? You got a little tongue tie?
Yeah. Tongue-tied. Some claim its lingering energy of that tragic night forever imprinted on the chair.
Yeah, I mean, in this instance, his life ended there, so I could see energy, like remnants of him, being stuck to that chair, like not being trapped, just like the remnants of him. Like wisps of who he was, not consciousness.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. Yeah. The energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see that. And like, again, you pick up on that vibe and then you extrapolate what you know to be true about the object or the place. And then what you feel about the object or the place. And you start manufacturing or manifesting those paranormal experiences.
I mean, I personally think it's mostly about manifestation of what you feel or perceive. Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, you're projecting your expectation of what you think I don't know, because some people go and look for the paranormal and the weird, the energetic weirdness. Not necessarily people aren't going to have experiences with ghosts, but they go to feel the energy.
Yeah.
Some people don't. So if you're a person who's going there not thinking of any paranormal ideas, like you're just like, I'm just gonna go and like learn about history and read and see these objects that were important, and you put no energetic meaning into it, and then you still have a paranormal experience, I don't know. It's a little bit more compelling than people who go out. And I know, like, we've gone looking for paranormal experiences and found them. But my more compelling, like, for me, the experiences that are more compelling to me are the experiences that I had when I wasn't seeking it out.
Yeah.
Or the stories that have been told to me of people who experience things that were not seeking it out. And a weird, like, my grandma in the book, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. I think we've told that story on the podcast here.
I think so.
Like, that story is so much more compelling to me as, like, whoa, that was weird. Maybe there's something behind that. Versus, I went to a museum, I felt this icky energy around this chair where I know a tragic event happened, and I felt very uncomfortable, like I was being watched. But are you actually being watched, or are you just, is that just your, like, fight or flight response reacting to your physiological reaction to your memories of or learning about the tragic events that happened around that object?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay. Am I making sense is what I'm asking.
I think you are.
Okay.
Who knows? I mean,
I don't know, because I'm high, so I'm talking a lot.
That's fine.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Like I keep saying, it all boils down to energy, whether it's from the people who go there or from the past or both.
What I'm saying is, for me, when it comes to paranormal experiences, I'm always going to be like, oh, you went to the Abraham Lincoln chair and saw a shadow figure? Like, that's interesting. But I'm going to put more, like, my superstition, my personal, and this is maybe saying a lot about me as a person and what I believe, my superstitious mind is going to put more stock in the paranormal experiences that happened when you were not seeking out.
Right.
Like, when you're not going to a place where that is a potential because, whether consciously or subconsciously, you're seeking out that energy.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
I think you are, yes.
Okay.
You are. You are.
I feel like I have to keep clarifying what I'm saying, and I feel like the more that I say it, the more convoluted it gets.
I mean, I get it.
I don't know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying,
okay.
Yes. All right. As if the museum isn't spooky enough, let's now walk through the gates of Greenfield Village. This charming, picturesque setting is home to several alleged hauntings. One of the eeriest spots in the village is the Noah Webster house.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have as many. I have a lot of memories about the village. I feel like we went to the village more than we went to the museum, even though we went to the museum a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, I'm talking, we went there as a family recreationally, in addition to, for several years in a row, I went there every year on a school trip.
Nice.
So I went there a lot.
That's cool.
And I have a lot of, like, I don't know if this makes sense. I have a lot of visual memories of the museum. Like, as you were talking about these things and jogging my deeply buried memories of my past self, I was drawing up the image of the item, but not so much like a memory associated with a feeling. Does that make sense?
Yep.
When I think about Greenfield Village, it's more emotional memories.
Yeah.
And I can still see the visual, but I also get an emotion attached to the visual.
Yeah, I get it.
And a lot of them are real. It's not like, I would say uncomfortable. Not like creepy, spooky, anything like that. But I remember not quite being relaxed. Like, I never felt relaxed when I was walking through the houses and the structures in the village. Yeah. But I apparently did not feel the same when I was at the museum. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
different feelings, different energies, different...
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Webster, famous for compiling the first American dictionary, might still have haunt. Goddamn.
You have mush mouth, and I have oral diarrhea. What did you say?
Said margaritas.
Oh, okay. You said it at the same time I said diarrhea, and I was like, I know he didn't say diarrhea.
Diarrhea margaritas. That's gross. Anyways.
Same number of syllables.
Webster, famous for compiling the first American dictionary, might still haunt this old home. Visitors have reported strange occurrences, furniture moving on its own, cold spots, and even sightings of an elderly man, believed to be Webster himself, wandering the halls.
Yeah, so if you're going through the old homes and like the first Henry Ford factory or one of the early Henry Ford assembly line factories is there. Right. There is or used to be the Heinz, like the original Heinz ketchup manufacturing factory. The Wright brothers, their house that they grew up in, which came from Ohio.
Yeah.
You walk through them and like everything's roped off. So when you walk upstairs, you can basically only traverse like a portion of the hallway, because even like parts of the hallways in some houses might be roped off because there might be furniture or things that line the hallways.
Yeah.
So your range of movement is very, very low. So if an object moves, even if you don't see it, but maybe like you hear a chair scuff on the floor, unless somebody jumped a rope, there's not going to be anybody to physically move that chair. Yeah, so nobody bumped into it.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, if it was roped off and I heard a fucking chair move or a couch move.
Even if it's like from a room down the hall.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Unless sometimes staff can be up in the rooms cleaning. Like when I visited Monticello, I think like there was a staff member or a couple staff members like talking in one of the rooms. I think maybe they were like the museum curator or something, but they were on the other side of the ropes.
Yeah.
But like the visitors don't go on the other side of the ropes. So if I know that staff members are like, if I've seen staff members, I might think, oh, maybe they've just moved to a different room and they bumped into a chair.
Yeah. Mm.
But if I know nobody but other visitors is up there and we are all trapped within this roped off area, nobody's going to be bumping into chairs. That
would be crazy. All right. The home where Orville and Wilbur Wright grew up was moved to Dayton, Ohio. Nope. Moved from Dayton, Ohio to Greenfield Village in 1937. It said that the brothers' pioneering spirit never left. Guests report phantom footsteps on the stairs, doors opening and closing on their own, and cold spots that appear and vanish. Could it be Orville and Wilbur who is still tinkering with ideas in the afterlife?
I'm trying to remember if their house looked like.
Well, I don't know because I've never been there.
I wonder if there's pictures of it online though. Orville and Wilbur. What? I was gonna say Redenbacher.
Orville Redenbacher popcorn is very delicious.
Also say Wright Brothers childhood home. Okay. That's not what I was thinking it was. That's a really cute house. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I would live in a house like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, totally would live in a house like that. It's super cute. But it's not modernized at all. Like, it's not been updated since the year that it was moved up there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's largely still Victorian.
Yeah.
I can see how people could feel that would be haunted. Because if it's Victorian, it has to be haunted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because all ghosts are Victorian ghosts.
Yes.
Anne Boleyn walks around in a Victorian-style dress. No, I'm just kidding, but...
I mean, you could be. Ford's dedication to Edison's legacy extended to moving an entire replica of Edison's Menlo Park laboratory to Greenfield Village.
Mm-hmm.
Some visitors claim that the ghost of Edison himself is seen here, tinkering with machines or walking through the building late at night. Ford believed Edison's spirit resides here, and there have been multiple accounts of mysterious electrical anomalies, flickering lights, and strange static sounds. Guests and staff alike have reported seeing shadowy figures in the windows, hearing unexplained noises, and even catching glimpses of ghostly apparitions roaming the house. Some speculate that these spirits are either family members or others who have once lived there, trapped in a loop of their daily lives. I mean, I could see that, or, I mean, as shitty as Edison was, maybe he should have just stayed there.
If hell is real... No, I don't hope he's there. I don't want there to be a god that would intentionally create a place of punishment for the creation that he made, that he knew was gonna be like he made it to be. So why punish it for the way you made it?
Yeah.
For being the way you made it. But anyway.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. He's not a good man.
No.
But neither was Henry Ford.
Or Walt Disney.
Oh.
Anyways.
Or even really Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, I mean...
Which makes me sad.
He invented way better stuff than Edison. Edison stole most of...
But a lot of what Thomas Edison, the main rivalry, they started out, they were colleagues. They knew each other. Like, It wasn't just like, oh, you're both inventors living on opposite sides of the country. You're professional rivals. Like, it was personal between them. Edison was a financial investor, I think.
Yes, he was.
In some of Tesla's experiments. Yeah. But what it came down to morally was that Tesla allegedly was trying to get a system set up so that energy was free and wireless.
Yes.
Like, and Edison was like, no, we need to profit off of this thing. Yes. This natural occurrence that we have figured out how to harness. It's got to make money.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into this fully, but there is a whole ordeal where Edison killed several elephants trying to prove that Tesla's...
The DC, or the alternating current that Tesla invented wasn't as good as the direct current that
reality,
Edison invented.
Edison used his own shit to kill the elephants. To prove that. Just to say,
look! Your thing killed the elephant!
Yeah.
Switch the wires, Kenny.
Yeah, he used his own shit for that.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Anyways. A simple farmhouse from the 19th century, the Firestone Farmhouse is another place of eerie energy. Visitors and staff have experienced voices and shadow figures moving in the distance as if former residents were still tending their chores.
Firestone as in Firestone tires.
I don't know. It just says Firestone Farmhouse. Could be of the tire.
That's a pretty fancy looking farmhouse from the 18th century. Yeah, these people were loaded. I'm going to guess that they're the Firestones of Firestone tires.
Probably. Did you say 18th century? It would be
19th century.
Yeah.
Oh, this might not even be... What? Dearborn, Michigan. Okay. That is it's like, I was thrown off. There's like an actual barn with like hay in it. And I was like, am I looking at the correct Firestone farmhouse?
It said farmhouse. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but the way the Greenfield Village is set up, I didn't realize that there would be places. It's set up like a village. So like there's streets and all of the structures are pretty close together just along the street.
Yeah.
Like it's laid out like a downtown would be in a regular town that you live in.
Yeah.
I would have thought that just the house would have been there, but they've actually got like a whole little homestead set up, which again, I didn't realize because I only ever experienced like the main strip of the town.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Another location with strange happenings is the...
Sorry, there's the trolley tracks go by there, so... Is that the trolley or are those actual train tracks? I would think that's the trolley. I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of a situation here. Okay, I see what's going on. Okay. I don't know. I don't remember this, and I don't remember there being, like, large farm areas, but, again, the last time I was there, I think I was, like, 13, so.
Yeah, all right.
Interesting. My mind was blown by seeing the barn, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't think this is the right place.
Anyways. Another location with strange happenings is the home of the famed lexicographer Noah Webster. People have heard what sounds like shuffling papers and disembodied whispers, thought to be Webster continuing his work long after his passing.
I would say probably residual.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like, it was an activity that he repeated over and over and over and over and over again in the same place, same spot for many, many years.
Yeah.
Consecutively. Energetic. It's like wearing a path in your carpet. The energy, and sometimes if the conditions are right, it can manifest in either residual sounds or even images, but less often so, I think.
Yeah.
Smells are a big one.
Yeah.
But those old homes, like there's a smell.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's a distinct smell. And the smell alone might be enough to trigger in people that feeling of like, oh, I need to be having a weird experience because this place is old.
That's very possible, yeah.
And so we associate the smell of old things with hauntings. And so every time we smell an old thing, we think, oh, ghost is near because I'm smelling old thing.
Yep, it's just like whenever I smell old people.
Stop! That's not what I meant.
I'm kidding.
Like, you know, like the antique store smell.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
The old stuff smell.
Yep.
But I don't know how else to describe it.
Anyways. These aren't just ghost stories whispered among staff. Some of the best documented paranormal experiences come from visitors who have had no prior knowledge of the village's haunted history, lending to a bit of credibility to the claims.
That's my thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Now let's talk about some creepy artifacts and unsettling moments.
Did we not already do that?
Yeah, but there's more.
Okay.
Wait, there's more.
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like I kind of... We've been doing this, and as usual, I threw off the flow of your episode.
It's fine. I mean, it padded the episode.
Okay.
Where it's fine.
I talk a lot when I'm high, so I'm sorry.
It's okay. As fascinating as the history is, plenty of artifacts at the Henry Ford Museum are downright creepy. From toy coffins to life masks, these objects
To what?
Life masks.
You mean death masks?
Well, they were masks. I might get into it. So,
I'll Google it.
I think a life mask is when you're still alive, you had to have a mask made, like a death mask, if that makes sense.
Death masks and life masks. Keep talking.
All right. From toy coffins to life masks, these objects hold an eerie presence that makes many visitors uneasy. One standout piece is a life mask of Abraham Lincoln, created just before his assassination.
I'm literally right now looking at his death mask.
That's crazy.
As I was scrolling through this article, you're talking about Abraham Lincoln, and I'm like, oh, that guy looks like Abraham Lincoln. I look to the right of the picture, Mask of Lincoln.
That's crazy.
1880 to 1920. Wait, what? Oh, what? No, what?
What are you talking about?
1880 to 1920. Those dates are... Okay, hold on.
Anyways. Visitors often report feeling a strange, ghostly sensation when viewing this solemn representation of the late president. Another artifact that catches the attention of those with a taste for the macabre is the Edison talking doll, created in the late 1800s. No thank you.
Yeah, I'm Googling it right now. Oh my god. I don't remember this, and thank God.
Oh, that is creepy as shit. She's showing a picture of it, and it's pretty creepy.
You're gonna have to post it when you post about I'll send the picture to you.
That's crazy. Its fragile frame and distorted voice are unsettling enough. Still, the fact that it was one of the first talking dolls ever made, predating modern voice recording technologies, makes it an uncanny bridge between innovation and the supernatural. Over the years, the Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village have caught the attention of paranormal investigators. Some teams have conducted investigations here with fascinating results. A paranormal team recorded EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, in Edison's lab, and some sounded faint, like mechanical clicking or the words, "It works." Could this be Edison reaching out from beyond to confirm his theories on the afterlife? It's probably residual.
No, I'm trying to think. Did he invent Morse code?
Probably not.
Who invented Morse code? No. Okay.
No.
I was like clicking. Like he did not. I asked that because I didn't think he did. But I was like, clicking noises and saying it works. Like, what?
Yeah. At the Lincoln exhibit, EMF, or electromagnetic field, detectors spiked without explanation, and investigators captured a photo of what appeared to be a faint figure near the chair, possibly Lincoln himself, or a residual haunting from the tragic night in Ford's Theater.
I guess a lot of Thomas Edison's inventions would click. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
What were you talking about before that?
The inventions that he stole.
Oh, yeah.
From his workers.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Anyways.
Yeah, he did not invent the video camera.
He didn't
Someone else
invent
did.
most of that stuff. He stole it from his workers and called it his own.
Yep.
Anyways. Whether or not these findings are enough to prove a haunting, they certainly fuel the mystery surrounding the museum. Let's talk about the possible explanations for these paranormal experiences. Why is the Henry Ford Museum a place dedicated to history and innovation, home to such an array of ghostly encounters? One common theory is that the significant emotional energy tied to certain artifacts, like the Lincoln chair or Rosa Parks bus, leaves behind a residual haunt, replaying moments from the past.
Yeah, I mean, that's my big thing. Like, I think probably 99.99% of paranormal experiences can be chalked up to either falling in the camp of residual energy, or you manifested it based on your assumptions and the emotions that you're feeling subconsciously, your parasympathetic nervous system is creating because of the thoughts that you're having about this place.
Yeah. That makes more sense, I think.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
With many of the structures in Greenfield Village being relocated from their original locations, there's a belief that some spirits may have been disturbed or followed these buildings to their new home. Another theory posits that places with high concentrations of historical events can create time imprints, essentially ghostly echoes of the past playing out in the present.
Again, I'm not really sure why a historical event paranormally would have more significance than an event of equal magnitude that's not historically famous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but yeah, like I would say any concentration of objects or places where events of magnitude happened, or a place that has become important, not for necessarily what happened there, but because it was associated with a person who lived there, like Webster's house.
Yeah.
That house could just be any other house in Main Street, USA. But because he lived there and probably did a lot of work there,
Yeah.
it has garnered historical significance because we have placed historical significance upon that. Ergo, we made it important. But it was just a place where a dude lived. Yeah. And he walked the same. He went down to the kitchen, got his cup of coffee. He didn't because he's Victorian, yeah. But like, you walk down to the kitchen, you get a cup of coffee, you go drink your coffee, read the newspaper every single morning enough times.
It's going to have an imprint.
It's going to leave an imprint. Yeah. That's a completely insignificant activity, but you're still leaving your energetic imprint because you're spending so much of your life in that location doing the same occupation.
Yeah.
I chose occupation because it rhymed with location, but like the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah. The Henry Ford Museum acknowledges the stories but maintains a neutral stance. Its focus remains on educating the public about American history and innovation. The museum has not officially endorsed any paranormal investigations, but it hasn't dismissed the experiences shared by visitors and staff.
Okay. I have questions then. So, if the museum has not officially endorsed the fact that, like, oh yeah, we're a haunted museum, they're not promoting themselves as being haunted. They've not endorsed it. They're not welcoming paranormal investigators outside of regular office hours, I would assume, because that would be an endorsement.
I mean, not necessarily.
No, I'm saying, so then there's investigations before where, like, the EMFs and the EVPs were recorded. I'm assuming those happened during regular business hours.
But they could have given them access after hours.
That would be an endorsement.
Not necessarily. I mean...
What's more of an endorsement than allowing the activity to happen?
I don't know. It's just...
I don't endorse eating tacos, but I eat tacos. Is that not an endorsement?
It's not the same.
If I eat tacos, but then I turn around and say, I don't endorse eating tacos. Eat tacos at your own risk.
That's a tough political move right there.
I'm just saying, like, is not eating the tacos the endorsement?
I don't know.
Is eating the tacos not the endorsement? That's what I meant to say.
No,
anyway.
I get it, but at the same time, I think it's possible to, like, have paranormal investigators there.
Outside of regular business hours?
Outside.
And it not be an endorsement?
Yes.
How?
Letting them do their thing. Like,
that's an endorsement.
Not necessarily. Hey, we let these
You're
people...
making special
No.
allowances.
We let these people come in and investigate paranormal activity. Not necessarily saying that there is. And
so
their findings are their own thing. I mean, like, okay, we have EMF readings and blah blah blah, and we have.
You're
EVPs.
saying that you think that the Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village let in paranormal investigators outside of visiting hours.
Maybe.
I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not probable. So again, would these things not be, like, it's highly likely. I'm not saying that your scenario can never happen. 50-50, all right? Let's even the odds out. We'll say there's a 50-50 shot that what the scenario you have in mind happened, and then there's a 50-50 shot that these investigations happen during visiting hours.
I mean, places do that. They let paranormal investigators in.
And those places endorse the fact that they allow paranormal investigators in.
Well, yeah, but they don't publicly say, oh, we agree with these findings. There are some that let them in to do their thing, but they don't publicly say that they agree with their findings. That's what I think happened at the museum. I don't know.
I guess I get what you're saying.
Whether they personally think that it's real, they're not going to publicly say, hey, we think this is haunted.
We've allowed these paranormal investigators in, but we aren't saying...
They're not saying
that there's really
it is
ghosts
haunting.
here.
They're not going to say it's not. That's what it says.
Okay.
So that's what I think.
I guess. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I hope that your scenario is correct. And I hope that those EVPs were recorded without the disturbance of other visitors.
Right.
Because, I don't know, you know?
I get it. Yeah.
Sound pollution and all that. And, like, again, like, if all of the exhibits are on, that's emitting EMF.
Yeah.
Like, there's the phones. There's, like, a couple phones. There's one, I think it was one of the original phones like, right after Thomas Edison invented them, and it worked. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was assembled by his hands, but it was assembled in his workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. You pick it up, and it's like a recording of the first phone call when he had one phone and his assistant went somewhere else and had the other phone, and Edison called him. And telephones, I mean, they're not, like, hooked up to telephone lines, but, like, telephones are said to emit a lot of electromagnetic fields. Yeah. There's another phone where it's... I don't know. I don't remember exactly but it's from the period of time when to make a phone call, you picked up your handset and said, "Hello, operator, connect me to Joan Smith." Yeah. At this address. Because it's like you pick up the phone and it's showing you, this is what phone calls used to be. Then there's like a rotary phone. It's like, dial this phone number with the rotary phone. But like a lot of what I'm trying to say, and I'm failing at, a lot of the exhibits have power supplied to them. Yeah, so that's going to emit electromagnetic field. How is that not going to alter their readings? And when they did their investigation, as you're saying, they were allowed in after hours. Were those exhibits powered off?
Who knows?
I know, like, I need to know that information before I can gauge whether or not, like, okay, 25%, those findings are interesting. If, like, worst case scenario, I'm like, you know, that's interesting, but taking into account this environment that you were in, I'm not going to say that I believe that it was paranormal activity, but that's kind of cool if it is. Yeah. And then, like, 50% of, like, that's very compelling, but it could have a mundane explanation.
Yeah.
And then there's like the 100% where it's like, whoa, that's very interesting. I'm still not going to say that I believe that it was a ghost, but I'm like, oh, that was good. That's some good evidence, I guess. I'm using air quotes, you know.
Maybe I should have looked at some videos where people have investigated.
We should see if they have
Yeah.
any YouTube videos about it. But, again, I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know that the museum actually allows people in outside of regular business hours.
I did not look that specific, so...
I'm just saying, and I'm, again, very poorly saying that if my worst case scenario happens, I don't really put a lot of stock into the findings. If your best case scenario happened, that makes things a lot more compelling. And if a middle of the road scenario happened, then I'm like, well, you know, that's interesting, but could it be the electricity for all of the exhibits interfering with your readings?
It could be.
Also, people say that electricity generates paranormal activity.
That makes sense. I mean...
Like water is a producer of paranormal activity.
Yeah.
Both stagnant and running water. Stagnant water is like a sponge. It absorbs energy and then leaks it back out, and that's where you get like a lot of the residual hauntings. And then running water is more of a battery. It's a generator. It creates paranormal activity. It gives energy for sentient spirits to harness. That's the theory.
I mean, it makes sense.
So like bathrooms should be one of the most haunted place everywhere.
Every bathroom is a portal. So.
But like, there's also, now that I'm thinking about bathrooms, there's a lot of paranormal activity associated with bathrooms, like bars.
Yep.
A lot of like the stories are gonna take place in either the ladies' room or the men's room.
Yeah, I had a bad experience in a bar bathroom.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I drank a lot and got sick in a bar bathroom.
Oh.
That's my experience.
Oh, your tequila sunrises?
Yeah, I had 5 of them. Didn't realize I was that drunk until I stood up. So. Yeah,
and then you went and puked your guts out.
I did.
You also had a bad experience involving a car tire.
Yeah. Most of those experiences are me being drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
And crazy.
Yes. Anyway.
Yep.
What are we talking about? What was... How did we end up on... Oh, bathrooms.
Yeah.
ADHD. Yeah, bathrooms should be hotspots of paranormal, and a lot of times they are. Like, okay, here's an experience that it's not really an experience, it's more like a suppressed memory, not suppressed, but like forgotten memory that's just been dredged up for me. The bathrooms at the various Baptist churches we went to. Baptist churches all follow a similar layout, and all the bathrooms look the same. They're all pink, and they're all overly perfumed with the same either Bath & Body Works wallflowers or Febreze plugins.
Yeah.
Or the old school can of air freshener.
And a shit ton of potpourri.
And potpourri everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, I had some experiences in churches. Not like experiences, but like lots of situations where I can recall like my hair just being like goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like you get like, oh, that's it. But church bathrooms, I hated being alone in church bathrooms.
Yeah.
Bonus points if it was a basement bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
One of the churches we went to it was a really nice it was a walkout basement, so it wasn't like completely basement, but there was a section right by the stairs where the bathrooms were that was like down a hallway and around a corner, so all of the windows on the walkout edge of the basement were blocked from view. So it was like a dark corner, and that was happened to be where the bathrooms were. That was the creepiest place in that church.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I'm having a lot of just mundane, inane memories surface as we're talking about these things that are triggering my childhood.
Yep.
I've forgotten about a lot of this stuff, and as we're talking about it, you know that feeling where it's like, oh God, I forgot. Yeah. And then the more you think about it, the more you remember.
Yep. Anyways, it's a place where history and...
Sorry. I'm totally just derailing.
It's okay. It's a place where history is preserved and perhaps where the past feels remarkably close to the present.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'd say that's most museums.
Yeah.
Or historical places like the Lizzie Borden house is a museum.
Yeah.
But it's just the house.
Yeah.
You know.
So what do you think, listeners? Is the Henry Ford Museum a hotspot for supernatural activity, or are these just stories born from the eerie stillness of the historical relics? Either way, the museum's combination of history and mystery makes it one of the most fascinating places in America. If you ever visit, take a moment to appreciate the groundbreaking achievements on display, but keep your eyes and ears open, because history might not be the only thing lingering here.
You know, I just had a really... That's interesting. Like, museums are... It's like a double-edged sword. Where progress is a painful process, and sometimes in the course of progress, horrible things happen. Like, Thomas Edison, terrible person.
Yeah.
But ultimately... our society was able to progress technologically and intellectually thanks to the advancements that he and mostly his employees contributed to the scientific world. But he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then museums, they hold all of these things of like, this is the history of us. But then the other side, the other edge of the blade is they're creepy.
Yeah.
It was much more eloquent in my head when I first thought of it, but my brain doesn't communicate with my mouth.
So
I feel like I'm just talking a lot and saying nothing.
It's fine.
By the end, if anybody listened this far, they're gonna be like, put a muzzle on that bitch. Come on, shut her up.
Don't let the woman speak. Now we're at the end.
Don't let the woman get high.
We're at the we're at the end anyway. How
long is it?
Before editing, it's an hour 20 minutes right now.
Okay. It's not my worst I've ever been. Why do I feel so like hypersensitive about the fact that I'm so chatty?
The last episode, I edited it down to an hour and a half, or hour and 32 minutes.
Did I talk a lot during? I don't feel like I talked so much.
No, it was just a big episode.
It was just okay. So I didn't derail that one.
Not a lot.
Because I don't have any personal memories of them. I don't know. I just feel like this episode, because I've been here. This is one of the few places that we've ever talked about where I've physically been.
Yeah.
Like Carnton Plantation, I've been there too. It did not bring up so much of my childhood because, like I said, I've spent so much time comparatively. You
went there multiple times.
And have a lot of very vivid memories of the place. Like, I can even picture the food court.
Yeah. Anything else?
No. You better end this soon, or I'm going to keep you talking. Or I'm going to keep talking forever.
All right. If you have any stories or requests of anything you want to hear about, or know anyone who does, please email me at afraidishpodcast@gmail.com, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at afraidishpodcast. Tell me what haunted locations you want to hear about or anything paranormal. All the links will be in the show notes. I do have this on YouTube as audio. You can listen almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, rate and review on Apple Podcasts and rate on Spotify. 5 stars, please.
Please.
And remember, the world is full of mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's always something new to discover, and sometimes the most unexpected places are the most haunted. Until next time, don't be afraid of the dark. Be afraid-ish of what's in it. Bye.
Bye.
So, back in about 2006, 2007, I was drunk at a party, and my cousins and I were pretty fucked up. So my youngest cousin had to drive me home because I obviously couldn't.
Yeah.
So we went back to our apartment because we were roommates. And I guess
you lived with David?
Yeah. And my cousin Andrew drove me back. He wasn't my roommate, but he was...
Right. He was David's
brother. He lived
brother.
in the same apartment complex, yeah.
Oh, he lived in the same complex?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so he drove me back home. And on my way home, I guess I was pushing buttons on the radio. He's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I started crying. I'm like, I'm trying to find the home button because I want to go home.
You know, having been your DD, you've never been that fucked up. Like, you've never been as fucked up as you have to be for what's about to happen in this story to happen. But I can see you getting to a place where you're just, like, drunkenly pushing buttons and being silly.
Apparently, I get really emotional when I get drunk.
Yes, you do.
I'm just glad I'm not a mean drunk.
Me too.
So, when we got home, I got out of the car, and I peed on the tire.
On purpose, or that was just where you...
That's just where I had to go. So I peed
Why didn't you wait until you got to your apartment?
I don't know. I was drunk.
Public urination is a crime, Paul.
I know. I get it. Anyways, so after I peed on the tire, I started crying. And my cousin's like, what are you crying about? I'm like, I peed on my tire and now I need to get a new one. So that is the story of
the bad experience you had involving alcohol in a tire.
Yeah.
I love you. Weirdo.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.